So we are Team Bepaketh. Sorry.
Bepaketh.
And this is our final vlog for the peer reflection vlog for exactly that, the peer reflection of the other individual groups that have posted their vlogs. So we're going to give our takeaways, agreeances, things that we need additional clarification on, thoughts, lessons learned on that. So here we go.
Well, first off, one of the things that we were discussing just a few minutes ago that we all noticed was one thing we would have liked to have seen from the vlogs was more of a personal take on things. A lot of the groups gave their individual sort of book reports on what we read, but they didn't tie it back to personal experiences. Something we would have liked to have seen a little bit more of, made it sort of bring it home a little bit better for us all. I mean, we got good information out of them nevertheless, but it was something that we were definitely desiring and hoping to see, and were missing whenever it wasn't there. The other thing that we did like are for the groups that gave us information on their individual projects that they did for their volunteer hours. We thought that was quite interesting to see the different aspects of how people attacked that.
And we, Team Pink and Purple didn't give anything on their community service. We would like to know what you did and the impact on your respective lives.
And your impact on that organization, or organizations.
Yeah, because I know we got a lot out of our group project. That was what, we really enjoyed that, and it was nice to see what other people did. Like for Gower's Groupies, I got to see where the food from my store where I work at goes to and how it's used, and I can now make better decisions on what they can utilize because I got to learn what they can and can't take.
So from their personal reflections, things that we saw some commonalities were communication amongst all of the groups, different verbiage, but that was one resounding tidbit. Emotional intelligence was spoke about a lot. And then leaders. Leaders as a whole, leadership, what that means. Everybody pretty much is at the point in their journey where they are exactly that, in the midst of their journey, still defining who we are as leaders. I think that Kenny made a really good point earlier when we were having our initial group discussion about if he defined who he was as a leader, he hopes that whoever he claimed to be now, he wouldn't be that same person 3 to 4 years from now, because then that would mean that there was no evolution of him and his leadership skills. So I think that looking at it now kind of in retrospect or in hindsight, when you ask me who am I as a leader, I don't want to pigeonhole myself and tell you who I am as a leader, because I don't want to be labeled as, oh, Paul is a transformational leader, or she is a XYZ leader. It constantly will evolve, and that journey will continually keep going, given the situation and the circumstance that is presented to me.
Yeah, being a lifetime learners, that's what they always preach to us at graduation.
Yeah.
You keep learning, you keep progressing, keep building on the knowledge that you gain, so you can strive to be as perfect as possible to the situation.
I think that's what a bunch of the groups touched on with their group discussions, was that being a leader isn't a one-time decision, it's a constant effort that you have to put in. And everyone, there were several members of different groups that mentioned how they didn't think they were leaders. But if you have the wherewithal to question whether you're a leader or not, to a degree you are. And it's just a matter of them putting dedication into becoming the kind of leader that you want to be.
And I like what David said, and David in Gower's Groupies, he said he uses different leadership styles depending on the situation. I think that's what defines a good leader, to know what to do, not just being one like transformational. Sometimes you need to be hard on your subordinates for them to do the work and for them to do the work. So you have to change the kind of leadership styles to do as and when.
Yeah, sometimes leadership's a democratic process, but sometimes it's an authoritative process where you have to take charge and make decisions, and people have to follow those dictations whether they want to or not. I think one of the interesting things for me when everyone talked about the individual group projects that they did for communities was some of the disarray in the organizations they volunteered for. Specifically, the Four Guys in Green?
Yeah, the SPCA.
The SPCA, they had volunteers that showed up and they didn't really know what to do with them, which was sort of an organizational issue, which is surprising to see, considering the SPCA is a national level foundation. But at the same time, Gower's Groupies ran into that on a more localized organization with the food pantry, where they were working in the morning, went for lunch, and when they came back, everything was locked up because they went to break and completely forgot to tell everybody they were going to have a meeting and they weren't going to be available to let them back in. They ended up going home for the day and wasting part of their time. So it's interesting to see that, you know, that miscommunication issue is not solely on small or new organizations, it's on larger organizations as well. So the one that was interesting was the 3&He's take on the volunteer project, where they did 3 different organizations, and it sort of confused me whether it was a function of they just wanted to do more organizations, or if it was a function of limited amount of time because of the nature of the volunteer events they did, a walk, a movie night, and I forget what the other one is off the top of my head now.
Cancer walk.
The cancer walk was the first one. But my question is, would they have gotten more out of the understanding of the organization if they had done all 15 hours with one organization instead of splitting it up? So I'd just like to know how they feel about it and how they came to that decision.
Yeah, because I know we got a lot for, cause we did all ours with one organization intensely.
Yeah.
Very fun, grinding through carpet. It's great.
I mean, getting to see the planning portion of getting everything ready to do the actual build and then doing the build. So we got to see how they planned it, talk about the walkthroughs, what we needed to do, and then, you know, put together the material list to accomplish that. So how much of that was the group able to do with doing 3 separate events like they did?
Talk about self-handicapping?
Yeah. You want to talk about self-handicapping?
I would love to.
Alright.
So,
In the mirror.
why would you say that now? I can't continue.
Well,
Go ahead.
it was a trend in everyone, because with self-handicap, we all despised reading it, of course, as we said earlier, and it was kind of the big thing. You got to see like where you kind of fell short of. You got to see where you could improve and what
Yeah.
you could do with it. I thought that was kind of, because I know reading it, I saw a lot of things that I thought were good qualities being listed in there, and I was really confused, and then I had to reevaluate life. It's great.
So you had a Dr. Phil moment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've had that a lot in this class.
Yeah, as we said, having the mirror held up and having to see your reflection and questioning what you see is never comfortable. So I think it's good that the book was a hard read for a lot of people in the class.
I think overall, sorry, do you have anything else to say about that?
Yeah, I think it's basically because of the diction. It was written in very simple language that you can see yourself in there, like guilty of everything that she listed.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, not hiding behind terminology that you
Yeah.
can say, oh, I don't know what that word
understand it,
means.
yeah, but it was really
Oh.
clean and easy to get.
Kenny not understanding because he doesn't read enough to.
I only read 3 books before this class, guys. Come on.
Please don't hold that against us in the grading aspect of the class, Dr. Gower. Just like to put that in there. But I think that as a whole, I personally have thoroughly enjoyed this class. I've learned a lot. I said this in our individual vlog earlier. It was very therapeutic for me, airing out some things within myself and all of that, but it was really doable because I really had some really great team members.
You good?
So in short, I just would like to say thank you to all of the group members, not for an exceptional semester. There are some extremely bright individuals in the class, and I think that the dialogue was, and the peer interaction was tremendous for the semester.
Best group I've ever had in school, by far.
Just because you don't read any books.
Been quite a group, so.
Yeah, I think I said in my other videos I liked working with the group, but I think the class overall, being able to have discussions with, you know, people who have different backgrounds and perspectives really enhanced the information that we got out of each chapter, each book, and definitely something that I look forward to. Initially coming in and the chapters that we had to lead ourselves and sit down and talk about without Kim interjecting was initially I was curious how it was going to work, but it actually went a lot better than I expected it to, and it was really cool getting to actually sit down and talk to the other students instead of being talked at by a professor.
Yeah, and I always look forward to coming to the class. Aside the intensive, blogging and reading, I enjoyed every discussion in class.
Yeah, I agree. She was right. You look forward to the class eventually, even though you hate the work. Like you look forward to the class and you end up enjoying it.
There you go.
Yeah, we
The
made
best,
it.
the best worst class we've ever had.
There
Yep.
you go.
Cheers.
Woo! Kenny.
Kenny.
Oh,
Christ almighty.
Jesus.
God.
It's because you're so poorly read.
yeah. Poorly read.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.